Do any of you live with some regrets? Do any of you live with some regrets?
Absolutely.
Do you live with the regrets that maybe I did my job in raising my children, but I missed the mark.
Amen to that.
I missed the mark. I didn't do it willfully. This morning in class, we were weighing again some words that a worldly fisherman shared with us. His name was Peter. What a journey it was for Peter when he started out, and we see him as he was when Jesus said, "Come follow me," and he abandoned a boatload of fish to follow him. We know the encounters that Peter had with Jesus and the things he thought he had all the answers for. And yet, as an old man, he leaves some words with us with which we must ponder our life over. We must look at what do we learn from him. In this series of A Look at the Man, as we have tried to watch Jesus chronologically, encounter by encounter. We're just not getting into scripture and going, okay, Matthew through the end. We're trying to put together the moments of the encounter. We're starting this second part here. This is the parable number 2. A parable is given, as we talked about before, with a singular lesson, a singular purpose. So Jesus explains to them some realities of being in God's kingdom, being in the world, that are basically stories. Graphic, descriptive stories. And he explains that not everyone's going to understand that story. How difficult it is to end up being a man who looks at his life, and I look back and realize, and I don't know where the fault is. Was it me? Was it me that when I heard the teachings that I was not the soil in the first parable we looked at, that I really wasn't there? So though the message was there, I wasn't there. As a result, the full impact of what I heard never took root. And I left you in that last lesson with this single question that comes from that. Based upon the story of the sower and the seed, hard, worldly soil, rocky places of soil, good soil but living in thorns, or good soil that produced. And the question that before us is really honestly based upon my life and how I respond to his word. Not how I respond to the church. Not how I respond to other things. When it comes to me and God, what level of soil am I really? It's an indicting question, I find. Today we're going to look at a parable where he talks about a garden that has weeds. I entitled this today, Growing Up in the Weeds. Growing Up in the Weeds. Let me, first of all, get it out of the way. I hate weeds. I hate weeds. It began as a young boy with a hoe in my hand. I hated weeds. I blamed the calluses and the blisters on the weeds. I wanted to make a little money, and I got 25 cents for every quarter mile that I hoed, and a guy that put a windbreak around their place. I wanted the money, but I hated how I got it. See, the point is that weeds are funny little critters. You can work and work and work and work and work and work and work. And you step back and you say, good job. And you don't work for 10 days. And you go back out there and you look. And they're sitting there going, you know, where did they come from? Now they're bigger, taller, stronger than they were the last time I hit them with a hoe. See, the thing about a weed is that they pervasively try to control every inch of ground that they can. They don't even need water. How do they grow? How do those goat heads grow in soil that's you can't get a hoe through it? It's like it's gravel, and there they are, just thriving and living and enjoying life. See, weeds to me, okay, you got it. Bob has a hang up about weeds. See, weeds to me are evil. They're destructive. May I say, potentially dangerous to having a good crop, to having a decent lawn, to having a healthy garden. Weeds. See, imagine, and we look at the story of Jesus, and imagine you are created in the image of God. You're his most beautiful flower, most beautiful, wonderful creation. But you're going to have to grow up in a field of weeds. Now think about that for a little bit. So by the very nature of us understanding gardening, we know that there's conflict from day one, yes or no? From the get-go. From the get-go, the thing that we need may be kept from us. The problem is, we don't recognize we're flowers. We don't recognize how wonderfully, beautifully we were made, and that we have some decisions about the weeds that we're going to grow in amongst. I have some choices. Last week when Chris was visiting us, I hope they come back. I hope that we had a long talk. And I looked at those beautiful daughters of his. I look at Katie, Michael, Charlie, Joey. Do you realize that some weeds are pretty attractive and they even smell good? Sometimes we as flowers think because they are attractive and they smell good that they're like us. Well, they're beautiful. See, the problem with Jesus is that he takes away my rationalization about the world and the place I live and where I'm going to have to function. Several years ago, my wife and I came across this beautiful vine. It was growing in my daughter-in-law's jug. And she used it in that jug or that vase or planter, or whatever you gals call it. And it was beautiful. It streamed off the sides. And she had the beautiful centerpiece in it, had her flowers around. I'm going, that is a beautiful vine. That is so pretty. She, well, I could give you a start. His name is Vinca. And we thought, wow, we have these areas out here that we just can't get anything to really grow in. And they say it's pretty hardy and it's pretty. It'll be kind of like having a fern or a hosta out here that is stronger and hardier than it is. It is. It's very quickly lived in the place we put it. And then in all the places I didn't want it. Now my Vinca loves my lawn. My Vinca crawled all the way across my lawn out to my flower garden on the curb. Then it went north and south on the curb and decided my Vinca loves my Shastas. My Vinca loves our tulips. The Vinca loves our rose bushes. My Vinca loves everything. It was so pretty.
Stupid.
He put another parable before them, saying, this is Matthew 13, verse 24. So we have completed the teaching about the soil. Well, look at this one here. Another gardening lesson from Jesus. He put another parable before them, saying, the kingdom of heaven may be compared to a man who sowed good seed in his field. Okay, so we got a sower and we got a seed. So based upon what Jesus told us before, seed is what? God's word. What we know, what God speaks to us. But while his men were sleeping, very interesting, we'll look at that. While his men were sleeping, his enemy came and sowed weeds among the wheat and went away. So when the plants came up, the beautiful flowers and creations that they were, the weeds appeared also. So the servants of the master came and said to him, Hey you, did you not sow good seed in your field? Well, yes, I did. I put the best seed out there. I did the very best that I could. Yes, I did sow good seed. So his servants look at the master and says, what's with the weeds? How does it have weeds? He looked at them and said, an enemy has done this. Oh, okay, so we have an enemy, he's got the weeds there. So, shall we go out and gather them? What do you want us to do, master? Shall we get rid of them? Let me hack them out. And the master says something very remarkable. He said, no. What? You don't want the weeds gone? No. Lest in the gathering the weeds, you will root up the wheat along with them. He knew the close proximity that the weed and his creation were going to have to live and abide. He knew how close it was going to be. He said, you have to let them both grow until the harvest. And at harvest time, I will tell the reapers. Well, why? Going up to verse 29 again. Lest in the gathering of the weeds you root up my wheat with them. Think about this. Well, God, why don't you just will it? Why don't you just zap them all? You can do that. Why don't you just, I'm done with the weeds. What is here that he is saying no, they will have to stay. But they're going to have to stay, but you have to know where the weeds came from. Ignorance is no excuse amongst God's people for not recognizing weeds. And also recognizing the source of the weeds and from where they come from. Well, let's read on. At the harvest time, I'll tell the reapers, gather the weeds first and bind them in the bundles to be burned, and then gather my wheat into my barn. Now let's jump forward to just verse 34, where he explains it to them. Verse 34, he says, all these things Jesus said to the crowds in parables. Indeed, he said nothing to them without a parable, and this was to fulfill what was spoken by the prophets. I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter what has been hidden since the foundation of the world. So he left the crowds, went into the house. So here we are. Here's where the lesson explained begins. Once again, his disciples doing what they did before when they said, why are you talking to them in parables? What's this all about? Verse 34, all these things Jesus said to the crowds in parables. Indeed, he said nothing to them without a parable. Verse 35, this was to fulfill what was spoken by the prophets. I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter. I'm going to tell you. I'm with you. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Turn it up. We'll get some real preaching. I will utter, I will say what has been hidden since the foundation of the world. So stop and pause and examine this statement. Something that has been hidden. An explanation that isn't common today, and in so many ways it still remains hidden. And he tells us, so for those of us who have ears to hear, that we actually hear what he's saying. He's going to tell you something profound about what's going on in planet Earth. He's going to tell you about this whole journey. He left the crowd, and the disciples said, explain. Verse 37, the one who sows the good seed is the Son of Man. Okay, we're with him. We got good soil before. We kind of understand that one there. The field is the world. And the good seed is the sons of the kingdom. Now, all of a sudden, the seed is not just a word. The word has been grown up and has born something. Think about the parable of the sower. And they're grown up. The seed now is a someone. The seed is now a you or me or not. That's the reality. The weeds represent the sons of the evil one. Now, it's important for us to understand this clearly. It actually ties together with the thing we looked at when he encountered the Pharisees in John 8. When he said, you are doing what your father wants. Now, the problem with it is that these people weren't thinking about attacking Jesus and said, I'm going to do this in the name of the one I follow, Satan. They didn't do that. That which was hidden from the beginning of time, people, as Christians, to protect our family and our homes, we need to give an insight and a wisdom to those around us that is revealed by Jesus Christ so they understand where they stand in the scheme of things. One of my regrets is thinking that salvation was a matter of if I got good enough. Pardon the language. If I was somehow or another good enough, and I did all the right things, and I was good enough, I would make it to heaven. So I was then trapped with the realization that says, well, my neighbor's better than me. So if it's a matter of obedience, why aren't they good enough? It has never been about good enough. It's always been about the relationship. There's going to be a lot of good enough people in that place we call the narrow gate that says, Lord, didn't I give some cool lessons to the church in Fruitland? I try to do them in your name. And he looks in my heart and he says, who are you? See, we get confused about what we see. And Jesus is trying to explain it's about who you are and who your God is, period. It's tough. The field is the world. The good seed is the sons of the kingdom. The weeds are the sons of the evil one. The enemy who sowed them is the devil. So both the weeds have a gardener and a master, as well as the sons of God. There's only two. There's only two. There's no gray in between, I wished. You either are for me or you are. Why does Jesus keep drawing this line so that we can understand? So that sometime in our lives to where we become so lukewarm in our faith, lukewarm in our relationship, lukewarm in how we serve Him, that we think that we can just go through the motions and have our heart elsewhere. All I got to do is fool Neil. If Neil thinks I'm a good guy, I'm a good guy. Got my job done. If Tim thinks, wow, that person's really cool. The point he's trying to make with these parables, he is drawing a line with which, and he says, I'm revealing a secret, which has been hidden from the beginning. But I am now revealing to you, church in Fruitland, in 2025, what is really going on. The question is whether or not I will accept it, isn't it? Whether or not I will understand the reality. I thought last time when Chris's daughters were here, and I've been studying for this lesson, and I look at Michael and Katie and Charlie, you're going to have to pick at some point in time. And the truth of the matter, you'll either pick a weed or you'll pick a child. Can't there be a gray area, Bob? I wish there was. I wish there was. It would make it easier to speak to the things that I think we understand here. Tommy and Joy are going to pick a weed or a child of God. And there is no in between. Will that person be all super religious? I hope not. I hope that they just have an intent heart for God, to love and be kind and to be good and to follow God and listen to God and walk with God. I mean, I get worried about the things we think are our choice because they do all the outward things. They're always there, and all they are is an outward, faking, religious person. This is a heavy lesson to me. A lesson that requires the fathers and mothers and to teach our kids, look, son or daughter, you're going to make a choice someday. But it's going to begin with your choice. Because the truth of the matter is, if you're not committed to God, it'll be an easy choice to pick an attractive, good-smelling weed. Yes or no? It'll be the easiest thing in the world. But his point about marriage was what? It is from the home and the health of the husband and the wife and the raising of the children with which a strong church will emerge from. Not in between. And even though we maybe try and strive, there will be children of ours who will pick a weed. Breaks our hearts. They will pick a weed. Or they may remain a weed. Because the choice between being a weed and being the flower or the wheat is all mine. It's all mine. But we want to not have it be that straightforward. Teaching like this, a lot of people say, man, that's the last time I'm going to go in there because all that guy did was make me look at myself. That's not what I want. Tell me I'm okay. See, I can't tell you're okay because I don't really know your heart. I can't tell you you're all bad. I don't possess any of that. Oh, I can look at how you live and what you do and say, oh, that means this. It doesn't at all. Some people in our faith have said, well, you're a weed if you don't go to church last Sunday. Or you're a weed if you went hunting with the guys this Sunday. We look at the outward, what we can see, and that is wrong, brothers and sisters. It is wrong. It's evil on all points. It's destructive, and its self-righteousness is a dangerous, dangerous thing. Because what you don't know, you don't know. We don't even know each other all that well, do we? We really don't. Some of us know each other more because we've got to the point where we are talking about what's really going on. The enemy who sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the age, and the reapers are going to be the angels. Verse 40, and just as the weeds will be gathered and burned with fire, so it will be at the end of age. The Son of Man will send his angels. They will gather out of his kingdom all causes of sin and all lawbreakers. So he's kind of describing weeds, isn't he? He's describing the religious-looking, fine-sounding weeds. He's describing the arrogant, I'm better than you weeds, the pharisaical, whatever. He's describing all the things, all those who are